Hello, welcome back. Today I am going to talk to you a little bit about weight loss. I want to give you my 5 top tips for losing weight. It doesn't have to be really complicated. There are little things that you can do each day that will have an impact over time on your weight. So we're going to start with number 1. Is, and I'm sure you've probably heard this before, use a smaller plate. This is such a simple thing and it's so easy to overlook it, but it's so true. If you're using a massive dinner plate and you are dishing up your food onto that plate, you automatically, without even thinking about it, want to fill the plate to make it look as though you've got lots of food. And if you don't, if you put a normal sized portion on there, you do feel as though you're missing out. So if you use, and I'm not saying use a side plate, although you could do, side plates are pretty big nowadays, but just using a smaller plate, then it looks full of food. So you feel as though you're actually having a really big meal. So my second tip is that if you are having seconds, which we all do from time to time, really try to make sure that your seconds is vegetables. So, you know, most of us when we cook or when we create an evening meal have it with some sort of vegetables, or at least you should be. Make sure that when you go back for a second helping, it's all veggies, because they are really good in terms of low calorie, high filling value. So that's definitely worth remembering, but not potatoes necessarily. That's not so good. But sweet potato, good. Normal potato, not so much. Don't have too much of that. But any green vegetables, you know, broccoli, asparagus, all of those things are really good for you and they will fill you up and they won't pile on the pounds. So tip number 3 is make sure that you eat breakfast every day. It's really important. If you've had a healthy meal at the beginning of the day, then you are much more likely to follow that trend throughout the day. I know from my own personal experience, if I, for some reason, don't have time or my day's got off to a bad start somehow and I end up grabbing something that isn't the best thing to have, then that has a knock-on effect throughout the rest of my day, because I sort of in my head have already had a bad start to the day, so I may as well just continue on in that way. And also because breakfast fires up your metabolism, it gets everything started. You need something to get your system going, so don't skip breakfast. Okay, so tip number 4 is to keep away from these fad diets. They might sound amazing, or you might know somebody that's lost a stone in a week or whatever. And those results, I'm sure, are true. But the thing to bear in mind is they are not sustainable. If somebody is doing a diet where you are cutting out all carbs, or you're cutting out all fat, or you're replacing 2 of your meals each day with a shake or a smoothie or whatever, those results very rarely last. The way to lose weight, and this is probably my biggest tip actually, is to find a way of eating that is balanced, that is healthy, that is nourishing, and that works for you. It's about finding something that's right for you, that is sustainable. So tip number 5 is everything in moderation. This might seem like a little bit of a slightly counterintuitive tip for losing weight, but genuinely I believe that in order to have a sustainable weight loss and then to keep your results once you've got to where you want to be, you need to sort of take an 80-20 approach to things. So if you want to have I'm going to say a treat because it's the easiest way to describe it, but it would be better to get out of that way of thinking about things. But if you want to have a treat, have a treat. If you want some chocolate, have some chocolate. If you want to have a glass of wine, have a glass of wine. You get what I'm saying? Don't deny yourself, because by denying yourself, you make that thing feel like it's really important and you really want it. It's like if somebody says that you can't have something, then that's automatically what you want. So really try and get out of that mentality. You know, if it works for you, have 5 days where you're good and 2 days where you're a little bit more relaxed, or 1 day where you don't worry at all. Again, it goes back to finding something that's sustainable, but taking a everything in moderation approach and a balanced approach to your eating will get you the results that you want and will keep those results. So those are my 5 tips for losing weight. I hope that that's given you a little bit of inspiration and something that you can work on each day. Please do remember to subscribe if you like what you saw, and I will see you next time.